Let f of x be a differential function such that integral f of x sine of x dx minus negative f of x cosine of x plus integral f of x f4 for x cubed cosine of x. I probably shouldn't have bothered reading that whole thing. Oh well, such is life. Which of the following could be f of x? Okay, so we're given this crazy long equation, and there's some unknowns, or some unknown, and we're supposed to figure out what it is. So every now and then you'll be given kind of this, wow, something, and there's no real good way to figure out what it is. Like, at some point there's kind of like an intuitive spider sense. We're like, oh, my years of training, or in case of many of you, weeks, maybe months of introduction to calculus, it's like, okay, this is what's going on. Alas, this is one of those situations. So for me, when I see, all right, there's an integral here and an integral here and not an integral in the middle, and there seems to be a recurring f of x going on, and some things which are kind of derivatives of each other, this says integration by parts. Yep, you just have to kind of sort of recognize it. For a lot of these problems, there's no good methodical way of like, okay, you start here, you end up here. It's more like you take all your knowledge, you throw it in the box, you take some of the clues, you shake it up, and maybe you look at it, and maybe it gives you what you want. If it's not, then you shake it some more. So integration by parts is uv prime equals uv prime plus u prime v. You're like, what? That's ridiculous. That's the product rule. Okay, you got me. That is the product rule. Integration by parts is the reverse, the undoing of the product rule. So I will say that uv prime equals uv prime minus vu prime. I moved the u over to that side. It's okay, you can do that. Integrate everything and you get u dv equals uv minus v du integral. And this is the integration by parts. So now that we have that, I don't like red. Red is just too harsh. Too harsh. I don't like gray either because it doesn't pop enough. Not enough. Yeah. Okay. A lot of purple, a lot of green, a lot of blue. Okay. So if we look at this, we're going to say, all right, d. So we have u prime, v. I'll say du. dv. So we have, if this is the case, then we say dv equals sine of x. Because right here, uv equals cosine of x. Negative cosine of x? Maybe. Yes, because the derivative of negative cosine of x is the sine of x. Yes. Because what I am terrible at this, but all I remember in life is that this is kind of sine of x, and the derivative of sine of x is positive. And I remember that by looking at, this is just a mnemonic, looking at right here at 0, it's like, oh, it does go up. So positive slope, positive derivative, sine of x is positive. And so if the derivative of sine of x is cosine of x, then the integral of sine of x will be the opposite. It will be negative cosine of x. As long as you can remember the sign, however you do it, that's good. Okay. They were also given, so there's supposed to be a negative sign here, so we can distribute this. Negative, and then make a negative cosine of x here. And so du, nope, that's v. Right there, negative cosine of x, that's v. So that right there has to be du. So du equals 4x cubed. So now we can find u, which is f of x, which is, let's see, we'll do the power rule. So then integral dx will be 4x to the fourth over 4, which will be x to the fourth plus c. But we don't care about it. We don't care about this plus c for this. Which of the following could be? So we could say, well, c could be 0. So x to the fourth. Whoop. Okay. So to backtrack a little bit, that was kind of a slow boil that then escalated quickly. So what happened here was we first recognized, all right, we're talking about integration by parts here. After that, we derive the formula for integration by parts from the product rule. I do that every time because my memory is terrible, and there are so many small nuances with integration by parts that I'm just like, meh, push it away. And then I start matching up parts of the integration by parts formula with what we're given and find out what's left. What was left was 4x cubed, and when we integrate that, we get then u, which in this case is f of x. And that's how we do this one. Not too bad, but I can see how this one would be frustrating. If you don't see it right away, it'll be difficult to see. So my advice on something like this is you only have to get 60%. You look at this, if it doesn't snap, move on to the next one, maybe try to come back to it later. So, not too bad. Go team.